Really
Awesome.
excited to have Mike here with us to talk about Amazon Workspaces and what's new here. So, as always, within the Igel community, we have a bunch of events. This is just one of them. In March, we have another, a more technical deep dive event come in with Sebastian here. Is going to talk about what I wish I knew when I started at Igel. And this ought to be a really great deep dive, sort of learn from the mind of the guy that knows about pretty much everything within Igel. So really great session there. Excited about this. And then April, I'm really looking forward to this. We're going to have a geek speak with a few of our Igel VIPs, and Lord knows what we're going to talk about. So we still have to put together some list of questions, but it always starts with one question, then it goes about, well, Lord knows where it goes. So we're really looking forward to this. It's going to be an Ask These Guys Anything. They're all Igel experts, and it'll be a lot of fun. Then we have another Igel deep dive with Sebastian, who's going to do a part 2 of his technical issues explained and solved session, where he really dives into how to troubleshoot and solve some issues around Igel. Definitely a must. And then we'll come back in May, and I'm really looking forward to this one. Security is always on everyone's top of everyone's list, and we'll talk about security with Matthias Huber, one of our security guys. So that said, please sign up for future events at igelcommunity.com/events. It's list small, and then you can click the link and install. We do have a bunch of different properties. Hopefully you guys all know about them. igelcommunity.com. We have a new one, videos.igelcommunity.com. It's still sort of in beta, quasi, but really it's all working now. Check that out. That's where we'll store the meetup videos, the deep dive videos, any type of videos we create are up there, and hopefully it's a great time. So, and then Igel Community Archives, that's where we store a lot of our the Q&A within Slack. So check out those things. The last thing I have before I turn it over to Mike is probably the most important thing I can say, and that is if you have any questions, please use the Q&A piece, not chat. So we have a nice little screenshot right there. The Q&A piece, not the chat. We will monitor both. Sebastian and I are go on mute here in a second, turn over to Mike, and but definitely use the Q&A piece. On that note, I'm really excited to turn this over to Mike and let him do his thing. So this is some neat stuff. Last thing I'll say is when I joined Igel, I wanted 2 things. I wanted to see Igel do 2 things. One was a Raspberry Pi. We got that. The other was Amazon integration. I really love what Amazon's doing with Workspaces. And so my wish has come true. And I can leave the building, I guess. So on that note, I will shut up and turn it over to Mike. Mike, the floor is yours.
Thanks. No, I could listen to this all day. And by the way, I would 100% subscribe to a Doug Brown Sebastian. Sebastian's on the couch with a notebook, right? And Doug's laying down, and they just talk at length. I think that would something I would 100% subscribe to. That would be
nobody wants that. Nobody. Oh,
come on,
surely
come on.
not.
Nobody wants that.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, thank you for the time. I think really succinctly, this is exciting for us. It's an exciting time to be at Igel. It's an exciting time to kind of be part of EUC, right? I mean, I don't, and we don't have to say anything about how the pandemic's affected any of us personally, but I think it's extremely interesting to see how it's accelerated what we all do and we all support on a daily basis. I don't think there's any need for us to even, go into what you all as Igel community members have been through. It's been a challenging time for all of us. And, I think those of you that have used Igel have seen the benefits of being able to make the best of it, despite the rest of the situations globally. So yeah, I'm very curious about the future. And I think to kind of introduce myself, personally, I live in Seattle, Washington. I've been in the EUC VDI space for 5 or 6 years off and on. I started off in IT operations back in 2003, 2004, and from there got into VDI around 2006, 2007. I worked for Mazda Motors, worked for Hoag Hospital, doing their VDI initiatives, and then obviously doing some infrastructure stuff on the back end. I was a VMware guy. Don't hold it against me. If you guys are Citrix guys in the back, I know there's a lot. And then from there, I got into the enterprise software sales piece. So a lot of you, especially in the European market and EUC markets, might know AppSense. I worked there for a couple of years, and also Nutanix, and then I went up here at Igel. This community gets smaller and smaller, and we're just excited to be here. So with me as well, I have Casey Shane too. Casey is kind of my partner in crime. Together, him and I support Azure as well as Amazon, AWS from a relationship perspective, Microsoft and Amazon that we used to go to market with. So we're kind of tied at the hip, right? I'm focused on Amazon, Casey is focused on Microsoft, but together we can pretty much answer anything from either one. So with that, we'll jump into it. So, what is Igel? I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. We don't need to do that here. Let's get into the real meat, right? I like to show really what's cool. As you guys may know, Amazon WorkSpaces is now part of Igel OS. I think it's very relevant to kind of show exactly the fact and the work that we've done, right? Out of the big four, as we call them, right? The VMwares, the Citrix, the Microsoft, now the Amazons, right? We have those big four integrations at a native level within Igel OS. Again, this is a little GIF. I love GIFs, right? So if you ever want to, chat me on Slack or whatnot by the community and say, send me a GIF, I'm a big GIF responder. But yeah, at the end of the day, this becomes a really big step for us to be able to make headway into making sure that we can wrap our arms around any of those EUC solutions out there. So this is really the meat, right? Is the latest private build that supports Amazon WorkSpaces, fully supported by Igel, is 11.04.293, and that's of today, right? And I even put the, for our European friends out there, the date, month, year, which I think is much more relevant. It's just hard as an American to wrap my head around that. So, and I'll send this deck out when we're done. This includes direct links to the update package that you can use on your own, or we actually created an OSC as well. We did this to make it easier for people that want to trial it out to kind of create a device if they don't want to use a UD Pocket or something like that. Okay, where this is going to become, and we'll talk about the future of where Amazon WorkSpaces is going to hit the mainstream, is in 11.06 is where WorkSpaces will be part of the mainstream releases. So for all of you out there that are wondering, or kind of aligned to that update cadence of when we only update during a major release and a stable major release, it'll be 11.06. So probably second quarter 2021 is what I'm hearing. Calendar year. Okay. So real quick, how does it work? How does this integration work and what have we done? So at reInvent, which is Amazon's big user conference in 2019, Amazon released an Amazon WorkSpaces Linux client, which was a big deal, right? Before that, they only had Mac and Windows. So now they created a Linux client, right? And that's kind of kicked off this whole way to actually engage them. So in June of last year, Amazon approached us actually, which I was surprised about, and talked about how do we work with you closely. And that led to a contract, and that contract was signed at Disrupt on February 25th, was kind of the launch event for that allowed us to do this technical integration. So pretty cool story. And so basically we're taking, again, the native Amazon Linux client that they released as an Ubuntu package, and we're a Debian package, I should say, and we're integrating that into Igel OS. So how does it work, right? So again, I'll send this deck out. You guys can take screenshots if you want, but really what we're doing is, at the end of the day, we are setting the settings via the UMS on the user settings.json file. So everything that Amazon uses, again, it's much more cloud centric, where everything's set, or configured by a JSON file, which is kind of their universal way to engage settings and to do different things across all their services. We're actually setting all those settings on this JSON file on this path. One thing you may notice is this is a temporary path, right? So when the Igel OS piece reboots, these all get wiped, right? Unless, of course, the UMS is setting these, which means it's going to stay persistent and it's going to reapply those. So one thing to note there, the biggest piece we're working on, I'll get into in a second, is the logging. Currently, the logging is non-persistent as well, meaning that if you have a user that has an issue, those logs are going to sit at the same location. Really, this is more of an ask on our part to actually go back to Amazon and say, hey, can you guys provide us a way to actually redirect those logs to somewhere else that they can stay persistent? So TBD there, but just be aware of that. And I'll reiterate that in a couple of slides. And then, the other question comes up for some of you is that, hey, if I have more than one workspace I log into. So the way that Amazon WorkSpaces works is that they said they have this little registration code, and we'll talk through what that means. That registration code is specific to a particular workspace, and sometimes an individual or a set of individuals that allow them to connect into that actual persistent desktop. Windows on Amazon is essentially what that is. So if you need to connect to more than one workspace, again, for you that are familiar with Igel, basically you're going to create in the UMS another session and assign a different registration code for that, and then apply that to the same user, right? So when it comes to designing your folder structure on your devices for users that have multiple reg codes or whatnot, keep that in mind. That could be helpful. We can help you with that from a best practice standpoint, but just let us know. And again, what happens here is that at a technical level, in this path, we are iterating this AWSC0 to AWSC1 and so on and so forth. And we're applying those unique settings to the JSON files that are within that folder structure, therefore creating, two different logins. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Hopefully that helps, gives you some definition about what we're doing. So this is another piece about what exactly is in this JSON file. So these OS settings are exactly part of kind of a standardized text that's actually very human readable. So you can see here when we set those from the UMS and they're set within this user.json, we apply those appropriately, and you can see this is where it was cut off and added in here. And these are the settings that we set. We'll go through what those look like, but just to give you an idea of what it looks like. So from a UMS standpoint, we're taking all the different features that the current client affords us, and we're putting them into the UMS to allow us visibility into what we can do here. More to come here for sure. This is kind of, number one, the client being only a year old, and number two, the relationship between us and Amazon is extremely new. We're going to up-level this as quickly as possible to take advantage of some of the things that I think you all need in the field to be really successful with this. Things like unified communication applications, Zoom, Teams, all that kind of stuff. We're working with Amazon to figure out how to work better with them. One thing to note that's really interesting, and I'll leave it here for a second, about this relationship is that if you think about how a desktop as a service works with either, it could be Amazon, it could be Microsoft, is the fact that at the end of the day, they are purely software, right? I mean, Microsoft's obviously a little different because they have, Windows, which is, on 99% of devices out there, someone's using Windows. So they understand the connection between the physical device and the service that it connects to. This is a very new concept to Amazon, meaning that their suggestions to their customer, and they're extremely customer centric, have never extended to the device until now. So their mindset culturally is changing to say, when they go to one of their customers, this is a turnkey solution. Before it was just, here's the software, we don't care what device you run it on, it could be Windows, have a nice day. Now they're saying, hey, look, we have these connections with vendors like Igel, and particularly Igel. We can align the device all the way to our service, and that becomes very powerful. And so Amazon's at the very beginning of understanding how that works and making that happen. So just to be aware of how that works, and you might be saying, really, the grill in the room, or I guess a better term is the outstanding questions could be, where are the features, right? Why is this so slimmed down? And that's the reason why. It's new for Amazon. It's a new relationship for us, and we're looking to drive customer feedback to get them to provide more feature sets. Okay. Again, logging. I touched on this before. Those logs for these sessions are stored again in a non-persistent location that's going to be reset at boot, and you have 3 different options: normal, advanced, or verbose. But those are going to be populated here, and you could provide those back, or tail them, or look at them, or whatever. Okay. Good information there in case you're engaging someone at Igel support, or even someone on the Amazon side to figure out what's going on. So let's talk about features really quick. I'm going to zoom in here. Hopefully this translates on Zoom, which I think it does. These are the feature sets, right, that we've worked hard with to kind of align with Amazon, right? I think at the end of the day, I'm a very transparent person, right? I don't like to sell fluff. At the end of the day, I don't like to provide fluff as a solution. I think, I'm a bad liar. so I need to be very transparent about exactly who am I talking to and about what. And I think it's very relevant for you all in the community on the phone to talk to this, which is, what's available today and what you can do and what you can't. So on the left-hand column here, you see the current Amazon Windows Mac client for WorkSpaces and some of the features that are available here. And on the right, you have the Linux client. Green check marks mean it's good to go. Red means that they're not available yet, and we're working towards those essentially. So I think the one particular one to hit on, and again, we have a whole matrix here we'll talk about, but I'll talk through a couple of these that I think are critical, and we'll go from there. So some of you that are aware of how Amazon Workspaces works at the end of the day, right now it's PCOIP, right? I think all of us are familiar with that protocol. It's kind of the protocol that really created VDI and kind of remote sessions in the first place, really up-leveled it, right, from VMware back in the day. Obviously, Microsoft had RDP and some others, but PCOIP was kind of the rich protocol that really made everything kind of come together. So that's actually available today, and that's what we use in Amazon Workspaces and Linux to connect to the workspaces on the back end. That being said, Amazon is building their own protocol. This protocol is called WSP, or right, which is always an acronym, short for Workspaces Streaming Protocol. So this is their new protocol. Again, if some of you that are familiar with how VMware used PCOIP for a long time, then they created Blast. This is kind of the similar track that Amazon is using, where they have PCOIP support, and then they also have WSP support. WSP is available generally to Windows and Mac users. It is not yet available for Linux clients, and so we're looking to figure out exactly how to bring that to the Igel OS and to the Linux side. That's going to take some time. Again, Amazon works 100% on customer demand. So if any of you are requiring WSP support, reach out to us, and I'll reiterate this multiple times internally, and I'll tell you how to do that. Just send an email to amazon@igel.com, or you can engage me on Slack and be more than happy to have that conversation, and we can figure out how to talk through that with our Amazon partners about getting you in front of that with WSP for Linux. So that's a big one. The next piece here, maybe a lot of you didn't know this, there is Rdp protocol availability. It's a little clunky for Amazon Workspaces, but it is available, and it's a manual process to set up. But if you for some reason you wanted to use that is available. The other one I'm going to hit on really in kind of a general bucket is one of the strong suits of Igel, which is our peripheral support. So when we're talking about things like headsets, camera redirection, printer redirection, those things that I think as Igel users every day we're looking at and we're saying, hey, we need this. The Amazon Linux client for Workspaces kind of comes up short. So this is where we're really working with them to push the feature sets around PCOIP to say, how can we add more to this? How can we get some of the stuff involved in the mix, and how can we push this forward? I think, to be very transparent with you, because we're all community members on the phone, even if this support did come out, and I'm sure you all that have worked with WVD and some other places absolutely understand the absolute need for optimization when it comes to Team and Zoom, right? And how the lack of that in a VDI solution really hampers a lot of your abilities. Even if, so on that note, with redirection, even when that comes out, the optimization piece is still going to take a while. So our current suggestion right now, and again, it might not align to all security postures or kind of business requirements, is to run Teams or Zoom as a custom partition, and then connect to your workspaces where you'll get the best experience possible. If that's not available, again, get a hold of us on Slack or amazon@igel.com. We can talk through exactly how to get you in front of the right Amazon people if you haven't yet, to talk through how to do that. Okay, a lot of words there, but I think it's important to understand, protocol and kind of device peripheral support within this, right? And I'll send this out so you guys we can talk through this a little bit more. Next thing, one thing you maybe didn't know, and now I'll go smaller, is that beyond Amazon Workspaces, the Amazon EUC, or the AWS, I should say, EUC or End User Compute Story, really includes two other big key products. One is AppStream, which is fundamentally different than Workspaces. It's more of an application streaming protocol. So again, in Citrix speak, you have Citrix. I'm not going to use the new terms. You have Citrix Zen Desktop, which is kind of their desktop as a service VDI solution, and then you have Citrix Zen App, which is their application streaming. Amazon's two solutions between Workspaces and AppStream are very similar. So Workspaces equals Zen Desktop, AppStream equals Zen App, right? So this is their ability to actually stream applications. And then Amazon Connect is their call center in a box, right? It's more of a contact center scenario where through a web browser and a USB microphone and headset, you can enable any of your end users to actually get on and become a fully featured call center participant at home or anywhere they're at, right? And these are both available right now today through a browser on HTML5, and the experience is decent, right? Again, AppStream, you're going to lose a lot of that peripheral type support for now. Connect is really made to work over a browser, so that's kind of fully featured, quote unquote, through a web browser and kind of a headset, which we support today. AppStreams is kind of a jumping off point in our native, and getting to a native integration where Amazon supports AppStream via Linux is something we're keen on, and we'll talk through that in a bit in terms of what the future looks like. But you can use both of these today natively through something like Chromium or through something like Firefox in Igel OS that allows you to kind of log in and to do those type of things. Okay, so again, really fully featured at the end of the day. It's WorkSpaces, AppStream, and Connect. We can do those all right now in Igel OS. So again, the AppStream feature set in Igel again is fairly limited versus the Windows side of things, as you can imagine. I'm not going to get too much in here. I know if any of you on the back end are using AppStream, please reach out to me again on Slack or Amazon@igel.com, and we'll go through some of your requirements. But as it stands today, right, when you're talking about more call center situations, or I guess I should say task worker situations where you have a lot of SaaS apps or apps that are available online, and you want to give users the most secure, streamlined experience possible through using Amazon AppStream, then that's a great use case for you. If you're more of a power user where you need peripheral support and whatnot, it's probably not. Okay. All right. So that kind of ends a little bit of the technical overview of what we kind of support. So let's go into kind of the high level of what it looks like here. So as many of you have seen, right, WorkSpaces, AppStream, Connect. This is more, again, just of a visual of what we support. WorkSpaces via PCOIP, AppStream's over 443, port 443, which is just SSL. Connect is over SSL, right? As many of you know, on Igel OS, your session connects through that different protocol path, where management in the gray dotted line there is going to connect to your UMS and ICG. I think one thing that's interesting about kind of cloud native focus, if you're an Igel user that's using Azure or AWS in this case to kind of house your UMS and ICG, is that the real recommendation is to always use an ICG as a proxy when you're using a public cloud. It just makes things easier. It's one port, right? Your users can be anywhere and just get to it. So that's kind of the best practice there. Okay, nothing new here really. I'm not going to go over kind of this value pitch. I think it's relevant here on the call that you all are technical enough to kind of focus on this. So I'm going to skip over this. This is more of a sales focused thing, and that is not this. But let's talk more about our partnership, right? Let's talk about exactly what's going on here. So again, on February 25th, Igel and Amazon, we got together and we're like, hey, let's sign an agreement. And at Disrupt, we not only launched the Amazon WorkSpaces experience, but Amazon also participated in Disrupt and had a technical session, which was great. The other interesting thing here is, I think before, for some of you that might remember, Amazon WorkSpaces running on the Rdp client natively in Igel OS required an extra fee to actually use it in production. That is not the case anymore. With Amazon actually providing that Linux client, that fee is gone. So it becomes like VMware Citrix WVD. You pay for the Igel OS, you get that integration, no extra fees, period, which is really cool. We are Igel, for some of you that are wondering about our partner status with Amazon. We're an advanced technical partner. We're definitely looking to up level that. I'm getting messages from Chime here. Let me turn that off. So we're looking to actually create more integrations there to be more visible on the Amazon partner community and make things work. Igel is also working, interestingly enough, towards an AWS marketplace offering. This is hugely critical for our business to go to market with, to make sure that we're aligned from a cloud native perspective. I know some of you out there, which is very interesting to us, and again, contact us if required. A lot of you have a public cloud commitment that you make to an AWS or an Azure at the end of the day. What's interesting here is that commitment, when you either purchase more licensing or new licensing through the marketplace, you can actually burn down or actually retire that commitment when you purchase Igel OS through the marketplaces, respectively. So from an Igel perspective, aligning more with you as a customer to say, we have a public cloud commitment, plus we want to own Igel. That's something we're working towards to help you to to ensure that we can retire that commitment and be aligned on the public cloud front. So that's something we're very focused on this year. And of course, Amazon sponsored Igel Disrupt. Okay. Couple more slides, and then I'm going to jump into a quick demo and take any questions. So from a technical support kind of guidelines and general information, again, on February 25th, official Igel support for Amazon Workspaces. We did have before this, which I think is very cool and interesting, Amazon being, or excuse me, Igel being as nimble and agile as we are, we actually did a worldwide internal Igel training for Amazon Workspaces, right? So we enabled your SEs that you contact, we enabled our development people, and we're actually looking to add this internally for now at Igel, but just to give you confidence that we can support you to the Igel Academy. So for those of us internally at Igel, we can be aware and up to date on what's going on. Again, we talked about the App Streaming Connect already available. The other thing I wanted to kind of talk through and give you some information on is that we're quickly building a test / demo environment that will allow any customer to quickly onboard either a VM or a UD Pocket or a current device that's running Igel OS that we either send you or that you turn on to a managed UMS and ICG that you can use for test purposes. So as an example, if you all in the community are running a production UMS and ICG, maybe you haven't built out a UMS and ICG, that's a heavy lift, right? It takes time, and you just want to test the Amazon Workspaces integration or any other kind of integrations, reach out to us, again, Amazon Igel or myself, and we'll actually get you spun up to this environment where you can just enroll in device, you can quickly test those integrations, and you'll be good to go. It's us, again, aligning that kind of cloud, agile mentality of getting you be able to test those things as quickly as possible. This managed service is not available, I want to stress, as a production environment. This is just mainly for testing. Okay. And then again, we're working towards documentation releases for Amazon Workspaces that we're working with our internal documentation teams on. All right. I'm going to stop right there really quick. I know that I've talked a lot. I know we wanted to wait for some Q&A, but I'm one to kind of stop, especially after kind of that big kind of technical deep dive, and just see if there's any questions, Sebastian, that we have in the chat that we can answer before we move on to some other stuff.
No, we are good.
Okay, perfect.
Actually, one just came in, actually, just as you said that. So is the demo / POC environment for testing or only Amazon?
No, it's not. We can actually give you lots of other test facets, right? I mean, again, this is a UMS and ICG. We're not providing Citrix integration or VMware integration. You can use your own or some of the test drive capabilities available there. But anything you want, right? In fact, we could probably have, and I'll talk with Doug and Sebastian about actually creating another community session where we can have a complete deep dive into what we call FastPass. It's a new initiative here at Igel. It's a baby of a couple of us, and what we're working towards to quickly spin you guys up and to get you some test resources. So let's talk further on that if you reach out to me.
You bet. We'd love to have you anytime you want to. Come on, please let us know. So,
Awesome.
Jason, the guy that asked the question, said, I'd like to know more about FastPass. So we'll definitely let you know more soon.
Cool. Sounds like a plan. All right.
Bruce has answered.
Yeah, right. Boom. I like that. So let's talk about what's coming in the future. So Amazon Workspaces, for those of you, again, I alluded to this before and touched on it briefly. It's going to hit the mainstream Igel release on 11.06. So second quarter 2021. In fact, I think that was the Chime is the Amazon kind of instant messenger. I think that's what I got from them is, hey, when is this, what release train is this going to be on, the major release train? So on 11.06, we're going to see that come out. Again, look for an Amazon Marketplace offering in the second half, maybe 2021. The other interesting thing that Amazon's doing here is Amazon actually has what's called a device qualification program. And I'll bring this up. Please forgive my tabs here. So the AWS, what they call the DQP, again, another great acronym, is currently really around the lines of IoT currently. But what this really is this is actually a device qualification program that allows kind of like Igel Ready is, if some of you know that today. So I'll phrase it even more easier than that. As an Igel community / Igel customer end user today, if you need a device aligned with Igel aligned with a certain VDI solution, how do you know they're all going to work together and are supported? So what AWS is doing is they're creating this device qualification program. And again, I alluded to it before, where the device, the physical aspect of connecting their services to you all at the end of the day is new for them. What's going to happen is that we're going to list our Igel devices that we know are supported. Could be Lenovo, could be Igel devices, could be HP, Dell, whatever they may be. We're going to qualify those on an Igel OS on Amazon, so that as an Amazon Workspaces or AppStream or Connect user, you can go there, see what devices are qualified and work, and move on. Right? That gives you complete and holistic confidence that those are going to be aligned. And then what we'll do is we'll link back from this device qualification program to the Igel Ready program, which I think, and I want to kind of tout this because this is a big deal. I know that one of the resources that I currently use today to actually find out, hey, does the device work? Is this supported? Is I always use the Igel Community HTL, the hardware compatibility list, which I think is a standard term. I know that Igel keeps an official one as well via our KB. Now with Igel Ready, we actually have a place you can go where you can actually talk through exactly what is actually supported from these individual solutions. So if you have, a question on ClearCube or Dynabook, right? Or, OnLogic is another company that's coming up, or Lenovo or HP or Dell or whomever. We know that these are companies that are working very close with Igel, LG included, to test and validate their devices. So absolutely without a fact that when I go out and I buy this, LG 24CN 650 all-in-one, that it's going to work with Igel OS. The next step is to really align that with VDI solutions, and that's what Amazon's offering. So with absolute confidence, you can decide at the end of the day, hey, look, we absolutely know that we can have a complete solution that's going to be supported end to end. Okay, pretty cool stuff. Also, we mentioned before, right, being in the spirit of transparency, the number of features that need to be enhanced, right, with AWS to give you a very rich experience. We're working very closely with Amazon on identifying customers as well as identifying opportunities to kind of move this along. So I think by second half 2021, as we ramp up, as we get better footing on going to market, it's like a new relationship, right? You have to figure out how each other work and what the best way to engage and where you're going to get traction on. We're still trying to figure that out. With this relationship being a month in, we're going to figure that out, and that's going to lead to stories and all this other stuff that you all can leverage that you need to actually onboard Amazon and feel confident in. Okay. Last thing I wanted to talk through, I'm not going to talk through the rest of these, is there is Igel hardware, right? We've all talked about the end computing device. In fact, it was actually released at Disrupt as being the first, right? In that little cute box is a Raspberry Pi 4, and end computing is basically put an enterprise wrapper around that, right? They provide support, they provide a lot of the cool things that are available for that. And I think we all know exactly what Raspberry Pi kind of provides from a hardware perspective. One really cool thing is that in terms of a cost-effective device, right, it contains a Chromium browser as well. So if you're looking to do Amazon AppStream or Connect, you're actually able to use the end computing device to actually use those two Amazon services directly on the end computing device beyond the Citrix Workspace Hub. That was kind of the rah-rah and the go-to-market around that. So just be aware, if you need a cost-effective device and you're using Connect or AppStream in a remote scenario, this is a great little device to kind of go on, and it's ARM-based and it works with those. Okay. Last reminder, then I'm going to jump into a demo. Again, Amazon Workspace is available now on Igel OS. It's 11.04.293. You can actually go to igel.com/AWS to fill out the form there and to get access to that software. Again, it's an OSC, and I know a lot of you on the Igel community are familiar with this, which is the way you can kind of create a brand new device or an update. So if you already have a device and you want to update it, both of those are available. Again, AppStream and Connect are available on HTML5 for any Igel OS that has a browser. You can use those today. And then if you want to reach out to us, please email us at Igel, Amazon@igel.com. Reach out to me on Slack specifically. And then again, if you want to test drive the software, igel.com/AWS. I think those are the most important things to remember above and beyond anything else today. Okay. So let's move over. Actually, I had to spin this up, but this is exactly what a demo looks like of this running on Igel OS. As you can see here I'll bring this up. This is version 293. So this is the latest and greatest that we have now. I imagine that there'll probably be a private build on 11.05 between now and the mainstream release as new features and new things come out, FYI. So just look for that at some point. If you want to test this out, a starter license, meaning the free 30-day license that comes with a newly installed Igel OS workspace, either on a UD Pocket or in a VM, can absolutely be used with this. So you can see here, I'm fully licensed in my test scenario, but you can absolutely use WorkSpaces in a starter license mechanism. So again, if some of you that haven't seen WorkSpaces, what it looks like, this is their Amazon skin client, which some of you have used the Rdp client. It's vastly different. It's all WorkSpaces aligned, which makes it really easy to connect to things. On the back end, I'm actually inputting the registration code, so you can see that for ease of use, I'm actually renaming that registration code to something that isn't cryptic. This is Mike Barmundi's US East 1 workspace, which is pretty cool. So I get my login here. MFA is absolutely supported, so via Amazon Workspaces. So if you have workspaces that have MFA integration, know that this is the native Amazon Workspaces application, which will absolutely work with that. So you can see here, again, launching PCOIP. I'm logging into my workspace in US East 1. And the backend, what's interesting with Amazon Workspaces is that it runs Windows Server 2016 or 2019 in more of like an RDS fashion that allows you to kind of use your different applications and things that are sitting in Workspaces there. So it's pretty quick, pretty easy. It works really well. It's pretty simple. I think that's the best thing about it today, right? You're not going to get a lot of today's support for webcams or that not, but if you plug in like a headset or those type of things, those will absolutely work through the session. And again, if you have a need to run Zoom or Teams or something, the best practice for Amazon plus that unified communications app is to run it as a custom partition today. Okay, I think that's about it. And that's really it for me. I mean, I like to keep things simple and succinct. I know it's only been 40 minutes, but I think I've talked a lot, and so I think we can open the floor at this pace and talk through some things if needs be.
Yeah, you bet. We definitely don't need to go long for the point of going long, right?
True.
So
I like it.
I loved it, Mike. I absolutely loved it. Just great content. Absolutely great content. So if anyone has any questions, please let us know. And yeah, what do I say? This is just really great stuff. So what do you guys think?
Just a fun fact, just at the end of your presentation, Mike, a community member asked, has everyone heard on the new Amazon Workspace Igel? I'm very interested in more information. It was just at the end of your presentation, but I linked him to the Zoom session, and hopefully he can get the record. So just fun, because it was just at the end of your presentation.
Nice.
It nailed it.
Yeah, right. It's just that sounds too coincidental, right? That wasn't me, by the way. I didn't do that. But no, I think there's to that individual's point. There's a lot of Amazon is now seeing this groundswell from a lot of their customers asking for devices, and the effort that we at Igel have put in to kind of make sure that we can align to them is really going to pay off, right? I think for you all that need Amazon Workspaces, so please engage. It's a very hot item at Amazon. It's a very hot topic for us internally at Igel. We're more than willing to help out and talk with it through you.
You got it. You got it. This is great stuff. Casey, anything you'd like to add in here? You should make him talk a little bit.
Yeah, Casey's.
See if he's with us or if it's just his pictures there.
I know he's chasing down some fires too. But no, Casey and I we're both located in Seattle, right? We kind of owe this quote unquote Igel cloud relationship perspective. My official title is a business development manager. Don't let that scare you. I came from the technical world. Those chops are being lost a little bit day by day, right? A little bit of atrophy. But I'm happy to jump in and help out where I can to talk to you individually or with your SE or whomever. So just let us know.
It's such a technical guy's response to a title. Don't let that scare you. I apologize for having a business title. Don't do that, Mike. Don't do that. Be proud of it. I think it's great.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I am. I know that, from a title perspective, though, some people are like, I don't know what he says, which fair enough, right? Like I'll defer to your SE and train them. So
Yeah, exactly. I want to talk to a tech guy. Well, I am a tech guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. I get it. I was there once too. Absolutely, absolutely. I still pretend to be a techie. I'm not,
Yeah,
sadly.
right.
So yeah, I had to read the manuals, you know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
mine's limited
well,
to changing my wireless at home, right? So I can do that. So
yeah, yeah. My wife just changed our wireless. To be honest with you, without she didn't like the name of it, so she changed it.
oh God, I can only remember what you named it in the first place. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just named it DABCC. I always do. Anyway, or I have fun with the poor Germans, but I wasn't allowed to do that. Anyway, on that note, guys, I appreciate you doing this with us, Mike,
Sure.
for sure. This is just absolutely great content. Please, for the folks watching, if you have any questions, there's some resources up on the screen there. You definitely post things within Slack. Mike is on Slack also, so if you post something, you'll see it, or just do an @Mike. And you'll find him in there. And what else can I say? We'll be having another webinar, meetup here just in a couple of weeks with Sebastian going deep. So please, I hope you can join that and definitely sign up for the other things. And thank you all just for being part of the Igel family, let alone the Igel community. So it's really been a great experience here at Igel, and I hope you guys enjoy it as much as we do. So I'll give you guys the last word. Sebastian, Mike, anything to add?
Just a big thank you. It was really a great insight. I mean, even more than I would have been happy to get as an insider. So it's perfect.
Awesome. No, and I want to echo both of you. I thank you for the opportunity, and especially to the community. Right, I've been in a lot of places that are very quote unquote customer and user centric when it comes to how we engage. Nutanix being probably one of the biggest ones, but it's hard to reciprocate. Right, it's hard to see that reciprocation even as a vendor resource to say, how do I get you guys to engage? What Doug and what you guys have created here is just fantastic. The integrity of it, the way that everyone contributes, the hours that I don't think Sebastian sleeps ever because he just responds all hours of the day. It's insane. I don't, if he's in any kind of relationship, I feel bad for his partner, him getting up in the middle of the night responding. So
don't
it's
tell
just
him.
fantastic.
Don't tell him that. You want to pedal
thank
down,
you.
baby. Pedal down. Don't tell him this.
But thank you guys. Appreciate it. You guys are wonderful.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Thank you all for joining this Igel community meetup. Until next time, have a great day, everybody.
Thanks all.
Bye-bye. Take care.